Hey, I'm Michael Cleveland, pastor at the River of Life Church in Abilene, Texas. You're about to watch a message from one of our weekend services. We hope that as you watch this message, that first you're challenged, that you're challenged to take whatever the next step is in your relationship with Jesus Christ. We also hope that you're encouraged. You know, if you enjoy this message today, we would invite you to come and worship with us on a Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. If you'd like to support the mission of this church financially, you can do so by going to our website, www.theriverabilene.com, and clicking on the Giving tab. Enjoy this message. Have a great day. Hey, how y'all doing? Good to see you today. I'm excited that you are here, and I'm excited that I get to share this message with you this morning. If you have a bulletin, go ahead and pull that out. You're going to want that today so you can follow along, and there may be some extra stuff that aren't in the notes that you might want to jot down on your own. I want to let you know that this week, Wednesday night, begins our Financial Peace University class. If you have not signed up for it yet, do so today. You know, I believe that no matter where you're at financially, no matter how well off you are, or no matter how much you might be struggling, there is something for everyone in this class. I believe that God has more for each and every one of us. You know, it should take $100, should cost $100 to take this course, and that's not any money that comes to the church. That's what we have to pay to get the packets for people to be able to take this class. It costs $100 for the packet. But here's the thing. We have some incredibly generous people in this church that have come forward and said that if there is anyone that wants to take this class, that $100 would be cost prohibitive and keep you from being able to take it. They will front the $100 for you. They want you to be able to take this class, and they will pay that for you. Also, we've had some people that have taken the class previously that have said, I'd like to take it again. Do I need to pay again? And actually the answer is no. If you have taken this class before somewhere else or here when it's been offered in the past, you are a Financial Peace University member. And so you don't have to pay the $100 again unless you want to buy a new packet. The cost isn't to take the class, it's to get the packet to be able to take the class. You know, it's interesting. You know, when you think about $100 to take this class, you know, that for some of us, that might be a big investment to be able to come up with $100 to do this. But I read this week that said the average family that takes this class, average, we're not talking about the people that go like way hardcore, the average family that takes this class within the first year of taking it saves $3,000. So could you put $100 in to save $3,000 this year? I think that's an investment worth making. We believe in it so much here that our couples on staff are all taking this class together. So myself and my wife, Natalie, we're taking this class. Mike Garland and his wife, Sam, they're taking this class. Kim and her husband, Brian, they're taking this class. We're doing it together because we believe in it, and we're not ever going to ask you to do something that we're not willing to put our money where our mouth is and that we're not willing to do ourselves. And so I encourage you, if you haven't signed up for this, sign up for it today. As soon as service is done today, Kim, our finance officer, is going to hold a quick info meeting right here. So you can just stay right here in this room when we dismiss today. She's going to show a real short video about what it's all about and then have an open time for Q&A. So please sign up and do this. A quick side note before I dig into the message. Next Sunday is Father's Day. Do we have any men in here? Any men? Any men? That was weak. When I say men, I'm talking like, do we have any like William Wallace Braveheart guys in here? Anybody like, do we have any men in here? Like, all right, let's try. Okay, so when I asked that, you're supposed to like give me like a William Wallace, like something like that. Do we have any men in this room? Yeah. Thank you. Gosh, I thought we were gonna have to take all of your man cards away. But it's like, do we have any men? Yeah. No. Next week is Father's Day, and I want to address something real quick. In the church, historically, Father's Day is the least attended Sunday of the year. That's sad. Especially when we compare it to Mother's Day, which is the third highest attended day of the year behind Christmas Eve and Easter. Guys, that's sad. That the moms are having to lead the families, that the men aren't the ones that are stepping up and saying, you know what, I'm going to lead my family and I want to be in church on Father's Day and I'm going to set the example. So this year, my challenge to you is let's break that cycle. Let's break that cycle. Let's lead our families. Let's come. Let's be at church. Let's bring our families to church on Father's Day this year. We got a great fun service put together, and I'll let you know you might even leave with a giant piece of meat that you could go home and grill. So just let you know, make plans to be here. Hey, today we're wrapping up our series called Making Change. And if you remember back to week 1, I challenged everyone to attend all 4 weeks of this series, that there was going to be a piece that you were going to need all 4 weeks. So I'm going to ask the question, has anybody made it all 4 weeks? Is there anybody that you made it all 4 weeks? There are. Hey, you know, my mom used to tell me that you don't always get something for doing the right thing, but when you do the right thing, sometimes you get rewarded. So who made it all 4 weeks? If you made it all 4 weeks, come here. I got something for you. If you made it all 4 weeks, come on down. Here, have some Chick-fil-A. There you go. You want Chick-fil-A? You want Amazon? You want McDonald's? What do you want? Chick-fil-A? Take your pick. Look at that. Amazon, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks. Oh, Amazon it is. Amazon for Mr. Ken. Only one. Miss Judy, what are you going for? Oh, I'm throwing them. I'm making it rain. That's a McDonald's. McDonald's? Chick-fil-A? Perfect. Hey, congratulations on making it all 4 weeks. So also, on week 1 of this series, we put out a challenge. The 100 thing giveaway. Did anybody give away 100 things? Anybody did it? Jenny, you did? All right, if you gave away 100 things, I'm giving you something. Because I said in week 1 that we got to clear some stuff out so we can get stuff. So if you gave away 100 things, come on up. Take your pick. Amazon, movie, Starbucks. Oh, there you go. Go see a movie. Gave away 100 things? Ooh, there you go. Look at that. Who says it doesn't pay to go to church? We got a movie, we got Starbucks, we got McDonald's. Have them right there. You're welcome. There you go. See, look at that. You give stuff away, you get stuff. It's awesome. So we got some pictures. Let's see. Here's some pictures of some stuff that people gave away. Look at that. We pulled these off of the internet. Somebody gave away a hot tub? Who gave away a hot tub? Why didn't you call me? I'd have taken that. Man, I got like, it was really funny getting like texts from people that were like, man, I gave away my lawnmower and I gave away all this stuff. And even the other day I got a text from somebody that says, hey, could the student ministry use a TV? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And so somebody gave us a TV. Like it's been awesome seeing what people have given away. It's been really, really cool. So also in this series, we've been talking about 4 important things every week. We've been talking about our 4 main ideas for the series. Is there anybody that thinks you know what all 4 of the big ideas are? The main points of this are 4 big ideas. Does anybody know all 4 of them? Bueller? Anybody know all 4? You know all 4? All right, come on. Oh, yeah, come on. Tell these wonderful people what your name is.
Melanie Carr.
This is Melanie Carr, and what are our 4 big ideas, Melanie?
Less is good, stress is bad, giving is good, tomorrow matters.
Yeah, I think that's right. So, there you go, have lunch. Buffalo Wild Wings on me. See, knowing your stuff is good. Coming to church is good. So, we had 4 big ideas in this series. Less is more, stress is bad, giving is good, and today we're talking about how tomorrow matters. As we talk about how tomorrow matters, basically we're talking about the future. And sometimes when we think about the future, it can be a difficult thing to think about. The future can be a little bit scary at times. It's been funny as I've been watching TV the last couple of weeks. It seems like I've watched the NBA playoffs as they've shown this commercial during every commercial break. And it's a commercial from the company Intel. And they have some new commercials about how the future can be scary. So I thought we should just watch this together.
Hey, the future. What's her problem?
Apparently I kept her up all night. She said the future freaks her out. How come no one likes me, Jim?
Intel does. Just think of everything Intel's doing right now with artificial intelligence. Pretty soon, AI is going to help executives like her see trends to stay ahead of her competition. No more sleepless nights.
We're gonna be friends.
I'm sorry about this.
Don't be embarrassed of me, Jim. I'm getting excited about this.
We know the future
We're gonna be friends.
because we're building it.
We're going to be friends. I love that. That's so funny. The future can be difficult because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. And so sometimes that can be a scary thing. But I think also thinking about the future can be difficult because if we're honest with ourselves, we've all become a little bit spoiled. Does anybody remember this giant company called Blockbuster? Anybody remember Blockbuster? Anybody remember the days of having to go to a video store? Do I remember that? That was crazy. We had to actually get in our cars and go somewhere to get a movie. And what really stunk is if you had decided, you know what? I'm renting this movie tonight. And then you drive to Blockbuster and you go in and you're like, hey, I'm renting Braveheart. And they tell you, I'm sorry, sir, we're out of that movie. And then you're like, what? So, who has it? Well, we can't tell you that information, but you want to look behind the counter because you wanted to see who had it, and you wanted to be like George Costanza from Seinfeld, and you wanted to show up at their house and say, let me watch this movie with you. But you couldn't because that would be weird, and you didn't want to be weird. But it was no fun to have to go to the video store and try to rent a movie. And then if you remember, when you would go to the video store and you would try to rent a movie, they would only let you rent 3 of them at a time, unless you had some super gold status membership. But now we have Netflix, and we have Hulu, and we have Amazon, and we have tons and tons of other streaming services, and they're all on demand. There's no waiting. You can rent what you want when you want it. There's more options available to rent right there at the touch of a button on your own television than you could ever watch an entire lifetime. There's no waiting for someone to bring it back to the store. There's no more be kind, rewind. And if you get 10 minutes into the movie and you don't like it, so what? You don't have to drive back to the store. You can just shut it off, pick another one out of the thousands that are there, and start again. Think about this. Think about when you text somebody. Especially if you text somebody and you're on iMessage. I have an iPhone, so I use iMessage. And you text somebody, and some of you haven't turned off the feature where it shows a timestamp of when you've read the message. I don't know if you realize this or not, but if you haven't turned this off, and I send you a text message, if you haven't turned it off, I can see what time you read your text message. And so for me being impatient and wanting things right now, if I send you a text message and it's 11:18 and I see that it pops up that you read it at 11:18, then I know you read this thing. I'm impatient, so I want to see those little bubbles popping up right now because I want to know that you're texting me back. And think about when you're watching a good show. Gone are the days of having to wait until next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. We don't want to just watch a show once a week and have to wait for it weekly and not be able to DVR and watch it when we want to watch it. Instead, we want to get on Netflix. We want to get on Hulu where they have whole seasons of things. And we can sit down and we can watch one episode, and when it's over, we don't even have to press a button because they know we're so lazy and we're so spoiled. They just start the next one for us. It's awesome. When we're ordering something online on Amazon, as I'm scrolling down Amazon's website finding things to order, if it doesn't have that little Prime sticker beside it, I'm not ordering it. I want it Prime, I want free shipping, and I want it here in 2 days. And if they could get one of those little drones to drop it off on my doorstep, that would be even cooler. We've been so conditioned to want things now that it makes it difficult for us to even begin to think about tomorrow. And we see how this plays out in many ways in our lives. We see how it plays out in our relationships with other people. If you've ever dropped off or picked up a kid at the elementary school parking lot, you can see that play out. We don't really think about the fact that, I might have to see them again tomorrow after I ran them off the road and flipped them off and cussed at them. We don't really think about the next step in our relationships. We think about how this interaction affects right now. We don't think about how the words that I say right now, how the things that I do right now might affect me and this person further down the road. We see this play out in how we treat our own bodies. And I'll be the first to confess that if you are offering me free ice cream or a free strawberry shake, I'll practically push my mom out of the way to go and get the free strawberry shake. I'm down for it. But we see how this plays out in that we make decisions about things that we want right now versus things that would be beneficial for us in the future. And we see this also in our finances. We see this in how we treat our money. According to CNN, their most recent study says that 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 76% of us live paycheck to paycheck. Now, Mike, you work for the bank. Are you okay with your money? You all right with it? Sometimes? Well, in that case, I was going to let this be the good side, but instead, this is going to be the good side over here. So just so we know, if we're looking at this, 76%, let's basically divide the room right here. From here over, all of you live paycheck to paycheck. That's what this looks like. Now let's own for a minute. Let's acknowledge the fact that there are many people that just to be able to live paycheck to paycheck is an accomplishment. That there are many people that worship with us. There are many people that are a part of this family that are single parents, that work multiple jobs and work hard just to be able to put food on the table. And to them, I commend them for being able to do that. There's many of us that are in that situation or a situation similar to that. But I don't think that's the vast majority of us. I think the vast majority of us listening to this message today don't have to live this way. But you see, our problem is that we have a today-centered mindset and we're not actually being wise with what we've been given. We have to realize that tomorrow matters. You see, when we recognize that tomorrow matters, it will change the way that we live today. When we flip to the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 20, it says, "The wise have wealth and luxury, but fools spend whatever they get." So if you look at the original Hebrew text and we begin to decipher it, this is basically the Hebrew version of living paycheck to paycheck. That's what it translates. And I'm totally lying and making that up. But it seems about right. It seems about right. It says that the wise have, but fools spend it all. The wise have. Fools spend everything they're given. King Solomon puts it this way, and it kind of makes me laugh because King Solomon, I imagine, has to be a little bit of a smart aleck for the way that he writes this verse. But in Proverbs chapter 6, verse 6, he says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard." I'm like, are you trying to get my attention? You're going to call me names? Halfway through this sentence, you're going to call me a sluggard? I don't even really know what that means, but okay, thanks, Solomon. But he says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." So what does the ant know? The ant knows that tomorrow matters. This tiny little insignificant ant knows that tomorrow matters. It knows that to live through the winter, it has to plan. It has to store up. In Matthew 25, Jesus is telling this story. And he's telling this story about this rich guy that decides he's going to give some money to some of his servants for them to take care of. And so he gives 5 bags of gold to this one guy, and he gives 2 bags of gold to another guy, and he gives 1 bag of gold to a third guy. And then he leaves them for a while, and he comes back, and when he comes back, the guy with 5 bags of gold has turned it into 10 bags of gold. And the guy with 2 bags of gold has turned it into 4 bags of gold. But the guy that had 1 bag of gold didn't do anything with it. He hid it and left it alone. And so the guy that gave the money away, he's upset. And so he looks at the guy with one, and he says, I'm going to take yours away. The one I gave you, I'm taking it away, and I'm giving it to somebody else. You know, Jesus says in this story that whoever is faithful with little will be blessed with more. So as I think about that, I think about the question, so what does it mean to Jesus for us to be faithful? And I think the answer is that those who multiplied what they had were in Jesus' eyes faithful in this story. Whoever is faithful with little will be blessed with more. And I find it interesting that in this story, that the man that didn't do anything with his one and that ultimately had it taken away and given to someone else, Jesus calls him a name in this story. Actually, 2 names. He says that he is a wicked and lazy servant. Like, not just a sluggard, like Solomon was talking about, and not just lazy, as if those 2 things weren't bad enough. I would hate to be called either of those things, but this guy that did nothing with what he had was called wicked and lazy. You know, the faithful one who multiplies what they have can be trusted with more. I know that there's some people that have a problem with us talking about money and talking about finances in church. And I will be the first one to admit that I have seen this horribly abused from the pulpit. And I've seen this horribly abused by preachers on TV. But I want you to know that this series is not about getting bigger offerings. This series is not about growing the income of the church. We are doing this series to help us all make better decisions. This series is about something that I believe is very important to Jesus based on how many times he talks about it in Scripture. All that we have is from God, and he has trusted us. So let's do our best to make grow what he has trusted us with. I believe there's 2 major ways that we can make money. And the first way that we can make money is people making money. The second way we can make money is by letting our money make money. As we talk about people making money, that's probably what most of us in this room do. You have a skill set. You have a trade. You went to school. You learned how to do a profession. And so you have a job. And you get up and you go to it and you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, whatever your work week looks like. And at the end of a set pay period, you receive a paycheck. People making money. You went to work, you earned something, and you made money. The second way is by putting your money to work for you. Your money making money. And I think that this is something that many people never really actually think about or never really take the steps toward doing. But in Matthew chapter 25, that story that we were just talking about, this is what they're saying. In Matthew 25, verse 16, it says, the man who received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. It doesn't say he got 5 bags of gold and then he went to his job and he earned money and added to it. It says he took the money that he was given, he took what he was entrusted with, and he put it to work. And he was able to use that money to double it and to make more money. And I think that when God trusts us with something, we have a choice. We can do what most people do and we can just use it and we can spend all of it, but once we do, it's all gone. Or, on the other hand, we could spend some, we could give some, and we could invest some. I think if you invest wisely, you may multiply what you have. And God might see that and say that you can be trusted with more. So I want to spend a few minutes here before we're done and talk about investing. Some of you may say, I have no idea how to invest. I've never done it. I don't know a whole lot about it. When I was in high school, they didn't teach us how to do that. And in college, I didn't take any classes that were specific to investing or money management. So I never really learned how to do it. And then I just got a job. And since then, I've been trying to pay bills and just keep things square. I don't know how to invest. Well, let me state the obvious. First, I am not an investing specialist. And even though Natalie and I are pretty well planned in our finances, I'm not a financial planner by trade. I am a pastor, And I'm not going to tell you how to invest, because if I tell you how to invest your money, that could turn out potentially bad for both of us. But if you notice, I've been plugging Financial Peace University for 4 weeks now. And in Financial Peace University, you learn how to get out of debt. You learn what kind of insurance to buy. You learn how to plan for retirement. And you learn solid principles about investing. And as a pastor, I want to show you some biblical principles today that we can broadly apply to investing. The first investing principle I wanted to talk about today is don't invest in things that you don't understand. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verses 3 and 4, it says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." You know, if you remember back to the 90s, there were a lot of people that were high on this stock, Lucent, and people were buying it up like crazy, and it was skyrocketing. But here was the problem. Most people had no idea what they actually did at Lucent. They didn't know what they even bought. They were just putting money into it because it was this hot thing. And then all of a sudden, it started to go down. And people lost a whole lot of money. You know, if you put $1,000 into Lucent stock in the 90s, today you would have a couple dollars left. But if at that same time in the 90s, you took that same $1,000 and you invested it in the Coca-Cola company, we all understand soda. People love it. They drink it up. More diabetes cases every day, right? We're going to drink up the soda. But you understand it. It's easy. If you put that same $1,000 into Coca-Cola in the 90s, today your return would be tens of thousands of dollars. If you put money in Coca-Cola in the 90s, and let's say you just kept all the Coke cans that you've probably drank since the 90s and turned those into the recycling center, you would have more out of those recycled cans than you would have had in your Lucent stock. So I say, when investing, if you can't explain it, don't do it. If you don't know the company, if you don't know the ins and outs, if you can't sit somebody down and tell them where your money's at and what it's doing, don't do it. You know, sometimes the best investments are the investments that we don't make. So don't invest in things you don't understand. And the second thing is don't put all your eggs in one basket. In Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 2, it says, "But divide your investments among many places, for you do not know what risks might lie ahead." So this is King Solomon again. He's credited as being the wisest man who's ever lived. And what he's telling us is to divide it up, split it up. Invest some money in stocks. Invest in some businesses. Invest in real estate. Invest in commodities. You know, every year, Nat and I sit down with our financial planner. And he always has this one phrase that he uses all the time. He says, "I'm diversifying your portfolio." Meaning, we're putting a whole bunch of money in different places. We're not going to put all of our eggs in one basket. Let me break it down to you like this. So I got a dog, and her name's Ladybird. And Ladybird, I let Ladybird out in the backyard a couple times a day. And typically in the morning is when she does this. She runs out into the backyard and she squats and she goes number 2. And when Ladybird gets in a rut, she goes to the same exact spot in my yard. And after this goes on for some time, I can walk into my backyard and I can tell you where Ladybird's been going, because there's a patch about this big in my backyard that has really thick, deep, luscious green grass. But the rest of my yard, because I have a black thumb and it's hot here and the water costs $1 million and I don't want to pay to water my yard, the rest of my yard is dead. Now, if I can get out there and I can scare Ladybird around and make her use the rest of the yard and diversify my yard a little bit, the rest of my yard looks a lot thicker, a lot greener, a lot more luscious. You got to spread it around. So don't invest in things you don't understand. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And don't try to get rich quick. 1 Timothy 6:9 says, "Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction." If it seems too good to be true, it is. You know, we all have that friend, that cousin, that uncle that comes to you and they have this business proposition. "I got this deal. I want to let you in on the ground floor." And then they tell you this part. They say, there's practically no risk involved. It's like if you give me a quarter today, I'm going to turn it into $5 in a couple weeks. Or if you give me $100 today, risk-free, I'm going to turn it into 1,000. Or if you give me 1,000, or you give me $10,000, if you can give me $10,000, I'm going to turn it into 6 figures in 3 months. Risk-free, no risk, no risk. You remember that stuff that I was talking about that Ladybird puts on my yard? Yeah, that's what that is. That's not real. It's not going to happen. If it seems too good to be true, it is. Those investments don't pan out. And a lot of times, they not only don't pan out, you're going to lose your shirt. And sometimes when you find out what's really going on, you're going to find out that you've been investing in something illegal. That's the way it works. If you don't believe me, call my cousin. He has a deal for you. He'll let you invest today. Investing is not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's a marathon. We're not going to get rich quick. Proverbs 13:11 says, dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Anything great in life takes time. A great marriage doesn't just happen in a day. Becoming the person that God wants you to be doesn't happen in a day. And growing your investments, it won't happen overnight. It takes time. But I would encourage you this, that no matter where you're at, you can invest. You can plan for tomorrow. You can do something. Maybe it's only $10 a month, $20 a month. If you're in high school or college right now and you begin setting aside $10 or $20 a month and you're investing it and you put it in the right stuff and you start getting back little bits of returns. And then you start compounding your interest on top of those things. And this is the good one, not the bad one like we talked about a couple weeks ago with credit card debt. This is good compounding. That money grows. And what you thought was nothing, what you thought was just $10 a month here, $20 a month here, becomes a good little bit of money. None of us are in a place where we can't. We can all do something. I think that money plus consistency plus time equals wealth. Like I said, the money, it can be great. Yeah, if you can put aside $1,000 a month, that's great. But if you can just put aside $10 a month, do that. That's the money part. Consistency, that's making sure it happens every month. Don't skip on a month. We have to be consistent and we have to give it time. We have to let it grow. When we can do those 3 things, that equals wealth. There's a study done a while back. There's a question that was asked. If you could get $1 million today, I don't have it. I got a couple more gift cards. But if you could get $1 million today, or if you could get 1 penny doubled every day for 30 days, which would you rather have? Would you rather have the million today or the penny doubled every day for 30 days? What happened in the midst of this study was that they found that 90% of the people that were asked this question wanted the $1 million in their pocket today. You see, they didn't take the time to figure it out, and they weren't patient enough to wait, because if they had have thought through this and done some math, and if they would have waited the 30 days to see what would happen, they would have received $5.3 million after 30 days. So don't invest in things you don't understand. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And don't try to get rich quick. This all starts with taking steps. And the first step is to decide, what are your priorities? What are your priorities? We talked on week 1 that better is 1 handful with tranquility than 2 handfuls with toil and chasing after the wind. And we talked about how we need to let go of the things out of this hand so that we just had 1 handful. But this 1 handful didn't need to just be junk. This 1 handful needed to be priority things. And when we have 1 handful of priorities, that's so much better than just having 2 handfuls of things. We have to set our priorities. And I believe today that there are 2 steps that every single one of us can make. And the first step is hanging around after service and attending Kim's meeting on Financial Peace University and then signing up for it. Invest that $100 and get that $3,000 back in return over the next year. That is a good investment. That's an investment that you can understand. That's an investment that you can explain. That's a step every single one of us can take. The second step that we can take is to commit to be here. Better is one handful. What are those priorities? Men, next week for Father's Day, what is your priority? Is it sleeping in and then going and playing around to golf? Or is it demonstrating to your family that this is who we are and we're going to be at church? What's the priorities that are in this hand? I hope that in the course of this series that you've been able to let go of some things in your life. And today I'm going to ask you to make a really big, monumental decision, but I believe it's one that can change your life. I believe it's one that has a potential to change your story, and I believe it can put you in a place for you to be able to receive all that God has for you in your life. So the commitment that I talked about back on week 1, the challenge that I said I was going to put out, I'm putting that out today. And the challenge is that you will commit to be here every single Sunday for the rest of the summer, June, July, and August, unless you're out of town traveling. That if you are in town, it doesn't matter if it's a nice day, it doesn't matter if it's a rainy day, that you commit to be here. You know, we say all the time that we win together. You know, as I look through the words in that sentence of we win together, yeah, I'm competitive, so I love the word win, but that's not the most important word in that sentence. The most important word out of the phrase we win together is together. I believe that to win together, we have to be together. I believe that to be the person that God wants you to be in your life, we have to be together. I believe for you to be the parent, to be the employee, whatever it is, whatever your goals or aspirations are in life, for you to reach that, we have to be together. Like I said earlier, this is not a crowd, this is a family. We come together to support one another. We come together to provoke one another to love and to good works. Nothing good comes from separation. When you separate yourself from someone or something of importance, all that does is push you farther and farther away. I'll be honest, I'm the preacher, but I still wake up on some Sunday mornings and go, man, I'm kind of tired. Man, I saw the forecast for today. It'd be nice to have brunch on the back patio. I feel that too. I'm not going to lie. I know you guys do too. But I know that for me to win in my life, I know that for my family to win, and I know that for us as the kingdom to win, I need to get up. I need to get ready. I need to be here because I want to be here with all of you. Because this isn't a crowd, this is a family. And as our family comes together, as we come together, we win together. We must be together. I've been talking about this for 4 weeks. I hope that you've spent some time praying about it, and I hope that you're ready, because what I'm going to do is here in a second, I'm going to ask anybody that's willing to make this commitment. Anyone that's willing to say, you know what, I want to be a part of the family, I'm going to plug in, I'm going to do my part, and for the rest of this summer, unless I'm out of town, I'm going to be here because I want to win together this summer. I'm going to ask you to stand up. And by doing that, there's a few things that take place. One, it's a little different than just saying inside, yeah, you know, I think I'm going to do this. It's actually taking a stand in front of other people to say, this is who I want to be this summer. This is where I'm going to be this summer. It's you taking a stand in front of people. What it also does is, as we talk about we win together, as we talk about being a family, it holds us accountable. And it shows other people that I will mend this with you. That I want to be here with you. And I need you. Here in a moment, for those that decide to accept this challenge and stand up, as you look around, I want you to connect eyes with some others in the room. And as you do, know that the person that you're connecting eyes with, that for them, what they're saying is, I need your help. I need your support. I need you to do this with me. Because we're in this together. We win together, not on our own. If you're here today and you're stirred by this, if you're here today and you want to win this summer, if you're here today and you will accept this challenge, then I invite you right now, if you're willing to say that this summer I will be here every Sunday, June, July, and August, unless I am out of town, will you stand up? Will you do it? It's awesome. Look around. Make eye contact with some people. Look around. You're not looking around right now to say, hey, look at me, I'm awesome. You're looking around right now because you're seeing people that are in your family that are doing this with you, that are here to support you. And look, as you're looking around, remember some of these faces, because if next Sunday rolls around and you see that somebody standing up isn't here, it's your responsibility to reach out to them. It's your responsibility to call them, to encourage them. Say, what can I do for you this week? Friends, we are in this together. We are a family together, and we will win together this summer. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the sermon that you just watched. I'd like to personally invite you to come and worship with us at 10:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings at the River of Life Church. We have a great kids program. We have anchor groups that meet every week. We got a place for you to plug in and people to love you, a place for you to come as you are and to belong. We invite you to come and worship with us. We'll see you soon.